All right, traders, welcome. My name is Fausto, and thanks for coming here for the Bookmap special event. What we have here once a week. I come here once a month talking about how to use Bookmap on a way how I use it towards stock trading and day trading. Obviously, you can see the market has been doing great today. The Dow is up literally over 600 points. A lot has to do about the news that came out yesterday regarding about interest rates. They lowered them. It didn't really do that much. I mean, when you really think about it, that was from yesterday. You could see a big move right there, but then it came back down. But then this morning it went up. Now, overall, I'll be honest with you, wasn't really a good day trade type of day. It was a good swing trade type of a day. But there were other stocks out there that did make some nice moves, and we're going to talk a little about it. I'm going to talk about how we find them. I'm going to show you how we use the Bookmap and how we trade some of these stocks following what's called supply and demand. Now, I am in two positions right now, and I want to bring up this stock, LUNR. Don't know if you guys heard about it, but you can see here on the intraday chart, stock was a very nice, inexpensive stock. It started right around 780, made its big move this morning around 9:30 this morning, right around 740, but kind of started building some big momentum here. I kind of chased it, and what that means is that I didn't buy it. Great traders never buy at the bottom and sell at top. You always buy in between. And the stock obviously went up. I got in a little late. I bought the stock around 850, and which was right around here. Okay. So right around 115. And the reason why I liked it is I'll talk a little bit about why and where I think it's going. But right here, if I could just zoom in over here, let me show you what I got going on the intraday chart. Now, at 8, right around here, we call this what's called a Fausto flag. Now, some of you are like, wow, Fausto, what the hell is that? Well, Fausto flag, basically, you could see right here is we're testing higher highs. And what happens when you stock trades, you got buyers on the bid, you got sellers on the offer, and the buyer keeps bidding it up and starts pushing it up. And that's what really happened there. And that's the reason why I jumped into it. But the other main reason is this. I'm going to bring Bookmap over here and show you what I got going on here. Now, if you've been following Bookmap for a while, you probably know that there have been a lot of great presenters that they carry. I've been one of the very first people who started using Bookmap. I think I'm probably, I don't know, my 6th, 7th year using it. And you'll see that we all use things a little bit differently. But I like to keep things very simple. I like to use the bubbles. I call them balls. I like to use straight lines right here. I like to look at the orders. So some people you'll see do things differently than me. I like to more of a cleaner, simple approach. Now, getting back to the stock and showing you why we got into the position and so on, I need to click on this arrow. And right now I'm only looking at an hour of data. I got to load up about 3 hours because right now I'm capped out at that hour. Up here on the top, you'll see it's adding that data in there. And then once it finishes, I can go back. I click on it, scroll on my mouse, and you can see here, as we go back, we're still loading up more data. It's all blank right here. It'll fill in another couple of seconds. There we go. All right. And you can see right here, I'm going to blow this up a little bit bigger so you can see a little bit better. So right here is around the 850. So you could see that that was a resistance levels. Now the line is not that thick, because when I click on my mouse and I scroll it and slide it over, I could actually see what that order is right there. And you could see right there that that was about 113,000 shares there on the right-hand side under the COB column, which stands for current order book. Now, there was a lot of green balls going on, and which are dots. Those balls stand for time in sales. Transactions kept hitting it. So as I was looking at it, I said, you know what? There's a lot of buying going on. You know what? I am chasing the stock from where it came from, but it is testing the new high. And sure enough, the big bull came in and boom, it busted right through it. Then, like it or not, the next biggest resistance levels was $9. And if I click on that $9 price, you could see it right there. That was another 158,000 share seller. Now, my game plan is to get out at that resistance levels at $9. But I constantly kept seeing more and more green balls kick in, more than red balls. And then, meaning you could see it right there. That was a big green one right there, got executed. And that's why the stock went up. Now, when a stock breaks a resistance levels, which are called breakouts, you always had a game plan to get out there, but we did test it right there, and now we're not breaking it. So I still own the position right here on that stock. Now, you could see there are no buyers out here, which is kind of alarming. Okay, I have to admit. The next resistance is up here at $10. You got 157,000 shares seller out there. But on the other aspect, not having buyers out here, just to keep in mind, these orders that were here that got executed at $8.50 and $9, I would kind of assume that those orders are going to be there in the future. Okay, meaning that somebody owns it, even though they're not buying it now. I know those orders are still going to be my support and resistance. So I want to show you what I do on a piece of paper that I teach my students. So I have a little legal pad here. Hopefully everybody sees this legal pad, right? So I'm going to write down the symbol LU and R. Okay, just like that. Does everybody see that on the screen? Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to write in, I own the stock out here at $8.50. All right. Now we have $9, $9.50. Was it $9? $9. Oh, I'm sorry. $9. And then we have $10. So if you look right here, I'll show you on the screen. You see how I have it written down. So I basically know where my support and resistance levels. Now, usually if I think where the big resistance levels obviously is 10, you could put a star right next to it, or you could probably make a big circle like that. That's what I teach my students. So, and the purpose of this is that now in the back of your mind, mentally, you know exactly where the support and resistance levels are on the stock. Now, if we go down, we have $8.50. I know there's a big support levels here around $7.50. Okay. You might have something here back around $10.30, which was around $8. Now it's going to look like this. Does everybody see that? So now I know exactly where the buyers are, where the sellers are. So I kind of have a good understanding of where my support and resistance levels are. Now let me just move this over on the right. And now you could see here on the chart, you don't have to go crazy having a game plan of, okay, where's this? Or maybe I'll slap in a Bollinger Band or an RSI and like, I don't know, whatever you guys watch here. I don't know. MACD, a Shanken. And then look at what we got right now. Now we got one big complete mess. Now, I don't know how people read this. I know it means something, but to me, this is everything. I see the orders. I know where it is. I've written them down. Now I have a game plan. Now I could apply this as a swing trade. I can apply it as a day trade, which is first, and go from there. Now, this is kind of busy. Let me get rid of this really quick. Now, for me doing this for over 30 years and being one of the original day traders that started doing this, you know, I was a market maker on Wall Street. I live here in New York. I was trained by some of the best traders. I always tell and always remind that people. But the thing is, when we traded, we only worked off this here on the right-hand side, the current order book. That's what we focused on. Back then, we had what's called Instinet, everything else. But that's really what you have to focus on. But the lines and having the bulls that we had there and seeing, you know, even here in the bottom, seeing the wicks, you know, the volume bars kind of gives you a sense of where the supply and demand is on that stock. So looking at this stock right here, if I, owning the position, I would go out here and I would load up my system. And how many shares we own? 500 shares. I'm going to use NASDAQ as my limit order, which is an ECN. I am going to put my limit order out there and I'm not going to be a pig. Okay. I'm not going to try to max out at $10. So I might go out at like $9.87. I want to sell into demand, right? And click sell. So right here, you can see I got my limit order out there. So if it goes to 10, great. But what happens sometimes, and I'll show you here, if you get greedy, you see these candlesticks right here? You see how that wick is? That stock moved literally about 20 cents. It can go boom up and down 20 cents. So that's my little concern on it. I do want to point something else out. I just recognized right now that just came to me. This stock right here hit a high around 9:30. It backed off around $9. It went back up around 9:24. It never made the new high. That's not a good sign. That means it's making a lower high, which probably means it's not going to probably go any higher. It could, but you know what? I got a profit in here. I might want to consider taking it if I do not see it break it, because usually when I see something like that, unless it's going to consolidate and trade here for a little bit longer, it's probably going to, in theory, probably go lower than higher. Okay. So we need the buyers to outbid the sellers. And as of right here, we're not getting people bidding it up, which is not a good sign. But we can see the big seller out there. So I want to keep a close eye on this stock because I might want to consider taking a profit. Another stock that we have right here, we have an open short. Now, this was a swing trade, okay, not a day trade. So we do swing trading here. And this stock, SMMT, was a great runner-up. Company came out with a really good drug, and it ran from like $12 up to a high around 33. And what happened here is I shorted it around 26, which is all the way down here. But not even that much. It was only like 100 shares, nothing crazy, but still a $280 profit. And what happened here is that the stock had a really, really nice run. You could see it here. But then on the next day, the wick ended up being red, and then the second wick became red. And now that's how you convert and see how a stock is, on a swing trade is going to continue to go lower once you're not having that consistency like you see here. Green, 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 green. It means that it's been closing higher than it's been, than it opened at. And that's why the wick is green, not red. But on that thing, that's the way how you convert and look at day trades turn to swing trades. Now, if you follow us, I don't know if anyone here follows us on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, but I post every day. And every stock kind of trades exactly the same, right? So it's all about following the orders. Now, I want to bring up this stock right here and see how it's doing on Bookmap. All right. And I'm just basically getting the data on this. Let me go back 3 hours, load up some more data here. So you could see right here that 2350 is a pretty big support level. Okay. And if I go back, I might have to go back a little further, 6 hours. You see that we're getting a lot more lines on the bottom, means there's been a lot more orders that have been focusing on the bid than on the offer, which is not a good sign to be short, because that means that buyers are already out there bidding for it. Now, I do have this big order right here at 26, and then when that order show up, he's been out there since 9:30 this morning. You can see it right here. But we're starting to trend down right here. I got this little support levels of 9,000 shares looking to be bought right around 2350. If we get past 2350, then we'll get down to 23. Now, if you notice here, we had a lot of reds. This is what's a little concerning. Okay, I would admit that looking at it around 10:30 this morning, it did hit that 2350. The buyers showed up, and that's why it went up. And then he was still out there, got a big, big red ball. Means a lot of transactions went on the bid. It still didn't break it, but we're getting a lot of reds right here. Now, if you look right here, if I zoom in, you could see that this was a double line, meaning that it was more than there was one person at probably 23. What was it? 2360, 2358. It already executed him, and now it's executing the other person. So what you're witnessing right now, fellow traders, is you're witnessing a stock getting executed. So now you're seeing a buyer on the bid getting executed. And how do we know he got executed? Because the red ball is getting bigger, and that number is gone. Now you see that there is no more red line. That means that that order got completely filled. So in the position that I'm in, I'm looking great. So the short looks like it's going to continue to go lower. All right. So as much as you would want to cover your short because you had a profit, I looked at it where, you know what, this stock had been having a really good run, and now we're not having a good run. You know what I mean? Now we're having profit taking. Because remember, this thing is up a lot. I mean, if you were up 300% in a week, I mean, what do you want? 400%? You want 500%? Could that happen? Sure, it could. But that's not how good traders trade. If you can make 10%, 20%, you'll be happy with it. All right. So the stock obviously is getting executed, it's getting hit on the bid. So what we need to do is we probably need to go back a couple of days. And I'm going to blow this chart a little bit bigger. And I'm going to draw a trend line right here. And you could see that right on September 11th, there was a lot of resistance levels around 24. When I look over here, there was a 24 seller out there, but the real big seller is at 26. All right, you see that? So 26, I'll take my trend line, is right there. You had a lot on the 17th, but you could see how, looking how that thing is trending, you see how it's making lower lows? That's what we look for, and that's how we convert into, that's why I got into the swing trade on the short side. And you could see right here, this was the big resistance levels right here. When we broke this, this was like the telltale sign. It says, okay, you know what? The longer it trades there, the longer it holds. And obviously it broke it. And now it's kind of going down. So, but that's irrelevant. What we need to focus on is down here on September 11th. Now we might have to go back even further on the 10th. And you could see that we have a lot of support levels right around here, around 2270. Okay. Back on September 11th. And you had big resistance levels on September 11th, right around that 24. But we broke 24. So in my swing trade, I'm going to still hold on to it. All right. Hold on to it and be focused on somewhere around this 2269, 2250, or give or take ballpark. But to confirm that, we got to look here. And honestly, I'm not really seeing that much out there. I mean, we've got a couple of lines over here, but we're not getting any, like, you know, really heavy duty lines. Like we have this 26. We got some here 23, 22, but we're not getting, like, you know, major ones. All right. So not only, like I said, we apply this as a day trade, but that's how these day trades turn to swing trades. That's how these swing trades turn to options trades. Now, getting back to my other stock, Lunar, because Lunar is breaking out. Now, if you remember, we didn't want to sell it because we were breaking a higher high. I was concerned about the higher low and going back over here. And I says, okay, well, listen, if it does come back to the $9, we might want to get out of it. So we're looking pretty good on this stock right here. And now remember, we have where are we? Lunar, here we go. All right, we got the resistance levels of two monster orders, 230,000 and 160,000 right there. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit closer. I want to know what actually that number is really quick because there's two of them out there. I'm zooming in here and get an idea. I want to make sure that I'm not shortchanging myself. It's probably 295. I would probably say. Yeah, 295. That's the number right there. So we got 200,000. So I have an order that's sitting out there now at 987. So you see how, like, I'm trying to sell into demand. All right. I want to beat the curve. You always want to be, if I go out there at 295, my 500 shares is going to be last on that 230,000. Okay, I'm not going to cut the line. So this is called shaving. So you're shaving a little bit closer there. So we're looking good there. Stock's trending. We almost got out of it. Got a little nervous, but you know what? Kind of worked out for us. Now, regarding about brand name stocks, because some of you be like, well, I never heard of LUNR, and I never heard of, SMMT. Of course you didn't. And you know what? You probably won't. And I don't even know what they do. And I really don't care. All I care about is trading a stock that's going to give me good supports and resistance levels with those big iceberg orders, what we call out there. And, then going out there and trading NVIDIA. Now, can we do this towards NVIDIA? Absolutely. Let's look at NVIDIA because, I wrote a lot of great videos on NVIDIA. I'll even show you. Hold on one second. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. He moves to a new window. So here's our Instagram page. And by the way, we're on YouTube. All these videos on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever you feel. I'm going to click on what says Reels right here. And the biggest one that we had was this one on NVIDIA. I did a lot of them on NVIDIA, actually. And you can see that they're like my most viewed. We just had Larry McMillan, another guru in the industry yesterday. We do a lot of podcasts. But if you're on our page, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like us, leave a comment. But I want to bring this video up right here. I want to bring up NVIDIA really quick. So watch this video really quick if you can kind of follow along with it. Let me mute it. So basically that order that you see right there, fellow traders, is this order right here. Okay. So that big order right there is that 120 I was talking about. That's that 1.3 million share seller out there. So you could see how Bookmap is really kind of like pointing it out for you. What, 125, another 1.2 million shares there. That was the other iceberg order that I just showed you. There's 130, 135. I mean, look how clean these numbers are, all the way up to 150. But you could see it as we go way back. That 120, that video that I made, I think it's like 4 weeks ago. You could see how those orders are always going to be there in the future. Okay. So keeping things clean, keeping things right to the point, you could see have that game plan where you can apply it not only as a day trade, but as a swing trade investment trade and also as a, option trade. And that's the issue, that reason why people fail. So why do people fail in trading? The main reason, well, I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. You're selling your winners too soon and you're holding your losers too long. And the way you're supposed to know how to deal with that is you got to have that game plan and you got to know where those orders are. Now, I've been using the platform, like I said, for several years now, probably on my 8th year using it. I was one of the very first people that used Bookmap when it first came out. It's one of the main tools that we use. We know it up and down. And if you look over here on our Instagram page, and if I scroll down, you'll notice all these videos have Bookmap showing on it. All of them. Well, majority of them, unless it's a podcast. Look, watch this stock explode. Unbelievable gains ahead. Another great video. I mean, I can keep going down and down and down, and you'll see Bookmap on every single slide. And like I said, we post every day on our account. So getting back to the LUNR trade, it's still going good. We still got the push. We got our limit order out there. So we're looking pretty nice about that. SMMT, it's not a big mover. It's not moving very great, but the trend is my friend. I'm not going to buck the trend. It's not more of a day trade. It's more of a swing trade, but we got those numbers written down. You know where those orders are, and that's what it's all about. Because you can't sit there and stare at the chart all day. All right, traders? So with that, that's my little training tip of the day. All right. How to use a legal pad, how to find some stocks. And by the way, and the question is, how do we find them? They were right here on the big percentage gainers and losers. So this stock right here, the GSIW, is up 125%. You can see it right here. It's the second biggest percentage gainer on the NASDAQ. See it right there? Now, what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you all to come into the trading room. And I want to give you my free book. So if you have a phone, all right, or just copy and paste right there, you go to ctu.co, not C-O-M, co/free. And I will give you my personal book. Okay. You could buy it on Amazon, pay me $47. I'd rather give it to you for free. So just register. I will give you 1 week access into our professional trading room, which is right here. Let me show it to you. This is our professional trading room right here, fellow traders. And you could see right here up on top, we have close to about, well, it's still early. People start showing up a little bit later, but we average a little over 200 traders. They're in there live. You can see here, there's all the instructors on the left. You could see all the students here, all our traders, and you could see how we're posting images. And if I scroll up, you might even see a couple of posts of images. There we go, right there. And we're posting Bookmap. And we're showing orders constantly. We have different defaults that we set up from all the instructors. What are they looking at on the stock? Oh, LUNR. That's the one that's the one we're on. So actually, you can see how we're trading it. We also have the alert service up here on top. So I want to invite all of you guys to have access to this into our trading room. All you got to do, 1 week access and to get the book. If you want to learn more about how CyberTrader University does these things, how we find these stocks, there's going to be a chance to do it. But it's a great platform. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I love Bookmap having me here every month, show you a tip of the day. But if you want to take it to that next level, if you're watching this recording, down the road, here's your chance to get involved. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So with that said, thanks for having me. Thanks for being in here. Hope you learned a lot within the 30 minutes. But you never can learn, like I said, you can never not learn enough. See how much, if you think you learn a little bit in 30 minutes, imagine what you learn in 1 week. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all in the trading room, or I'll see you next month for a next tip here from CyberTrader University.